Hello, the internet. Happy Friday, and welcome to another episode of Enter the Popverse. I am Ashley Victoria Robinson, your video host and producer here in the Popverse. If you don't know, the Popverse is a virtual realm created by ReadPop, and Enter the Popverse is our weekly roundup chat show where we talk all things geeky, all things pop culture, everything that you need to know from the week behind you and perhaps informing you in the week ahead of you. If you want any of our full details on anything that we talked about today, of course, we have videos, articles, quizzes, polls, pictures, and so much more going on all the time at thepopverse.com. So why not give it a visit if you like what we're getting up to here in the Popverse today. And while you're over there, get yourself a Popverse membership so you never ever miss a ding dang thing that we're getting up to in any place, anytime, any stage, all over the world. Because we're part of ReadPop, of course, that means we do like fun things live in person. We do things live on the internet. We do things pre-recorded on the internet, and we do things live and in person. And coming up next for everybody on Team ReadPop is, of course, New York Comic-Con. I have been telling you for weeks, friends, about New York Comic-Con, about the McElroy showing up, about Ewan McGregor showing up. I'm going to be hosting his live panel on the main stage. So you're going to want to come and check us out October 12th to 15th in New York City, the greatest city in the world. If you are planning to come live to New York Comic-Con, or if you are thinking and hoping to come live to New York Comic-Con, friends, let me tell you, you have to join us live next week, next Friday, right in this same bat time, same bat place here in the Popverse, because I'm going to be making an announcement, going to be sharing some details, and I don't want you to miss out on any of that. So do that. If you want to attend virtually, that Popverse membership, that is going to be your best way to be able to do that. So don't sleep on that, friends. Just don't. Okay. It's that time again, friends. Let's put our hands together in the traditional Enter the Popverse Theater Kid round of applause to welcome our unofficial co-host to this episode of Enter the Popverse, Mr. Graeme McMillan. Hi, Graeme. Welcome back to the Popverse.
Hello there. How are you?
I'm so well. How are you?
I am good, although my chair just squeaked, and I now feel very self-conscious that you all hear how old my chair is when it's moving around.
I don't think, one, anyone heard it, but now, two, that you've brought it up. How old is that chair?
This chair is, oh man, it might actually be like 15 years old.
This chair has been resoldered together. It is so old. So I think we're in good company. But you know what? Chair corner is not what we're here to talk about today.
Chair corner.
Chair corner. You and I in like the last maybe 6 weeks or so have gotten deep into like weird industry stories, and I said, let's do that again this week.
I love that.
But we're not doing comics today. We're going to do movies today because last weekend was National Cinema Day. Question one, Graeme, because I only learned about this because it was a Popverse story, and I saw this tweet all weekend long. What is National Cinema Day?
When is or what is? When is was last weekend. What is basically theater owners across America want to promote going to the movies. They do this by doing things like have Nicole Kidman appear at the start of your AMC things and tell you about how much she loves movies. But they also do National Cinema Day, which is the theater version of Free Comic Book Day, National Record Day. What that practically means is you get really cheap tickets, which I think is the selling point for everyone. It was $4 this year across the country in a number of chains. Like, it wasn't just small theaters that were doing this. Cinemark was doing this. AMC might have been doing it. I can't remember. But it's cheap films, basically. And it's not only current releases, it's also the re-release movies. So, for example, this year, Jurassic Park was one of the ones they re-released to get people back into the theater, with the whole aim of reminding people that going to the theater can be fun. It can also not be fun. I think you and I could both share stories of having terrible theater experiences. But, I like going to movies. I do. I am very lucky here in Portland with having some great movie theaters here. We have some theaters that are relatively small, but also have a great selection of films, and honestly, a great selection of food. Give me a theater that sells you pizza, and I'm happy.
With like real food though, like real good food.
No, exactly, proper food, not just popcorn. I don't get popcorn. That could deranges completely.
Oh, that's a conversation for a whole different show. It also, this year, I don't know if this is only the second year the National Cinema Day has ever happened, point blank, period. They also did $4 concessions. So I went to the cinema and saw a movie that is struck work, but you may remember that Ileana gave something recently 10 billion scarabs, and that would give you a hint as to what it was. I have never seen a line for concessions so long as I did on National Cinema Day. People were coming in like 20 minutes late, 30 with their popcorn buckets, and I don't know what to milk duds and what's that horrible licorice that Americans have? Red vines to eat throughout the rest of the movie.
I love that. The biggest line I've ever seen at a theater was for a press screening. I went to the press screening of Dungeons and Dragons earlier this year.
Oh, wow.
And for some reason, everyone going to that, it was press and fan. It was a combined screening.
Yeah.
Everyone going to that film wanted to have, a bucket roughly the size of twice of their heads full of popcorn and licorice. It was amazing.
But was it, just to do screener talk, were there snacks provided? Because sometimes there are and sometimes there aren't.
No, I don't live in LA, so we don't get snacks provided at our screenings. We just go to the regular movies and have a regular movie experience.
Well, we only get snacks provided if the studio is not a cheapie and one of the ones most responsible for the strikes that are currently going on right now.
I was going to say name names, but don't. I don't want to get you into trouble.
I won't name names, but everybody watching this who's ever gone to a screening in LA knows exactly who I'm talking about. There's also a very famous story about a very famous executive cutting corners on things like giving snacks out at screenings. But Graeme, National Cinema Day, the goal was to get numbers up, to make more money. It's a capitalist endeavor. Was it successful?
Yes, I think it was. I think it's an easy sell. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like when you're doing $4 movie tickets, that's great. Like that is an easy sell. It is not cheap to go to the movies normally.
Yeah.
Saying you can do it for a significant reduction in costs, especially with everything that's in the theater right now, I think it was a great idea, and I think it did exactly what they wanted. The timing's interesting, right? Because like I said, the strikes are going on. And there is a lot of fear about what that means for theater attendance.
Yeah.
Especially when movies are being moved around the schedule.
The timing's also interesting because we have Labor Day coming up, which feels like it might have been a better opportunity here in the States. It's a big holiday. And it's also a holiday traditionally where people go back to school after that, except if you live in the South and you inexplicably start your school in the middle of August, which is something I don't understand. But I think they were trying to go for like, this is the last weekend of the summer, so we're going to go see the blockbusters.
Oh, but also you don't want to do it over holiday weekend because ideally people are already going to go to the movies in the holiday weekend.
Yeah,
why would you have the extra bonus when you could spread it out across 2 weekends? Mm-hmm. Also, I do think there was, because you joked that you only heard about it when you saw the story on Popverse.
I did. That's exactly the only time I heard about it.
I'll be blunt. I hadn't heard about it before I got an email from one of the people involved.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was one of those things where I think it happened very quickly because, we've had a great summer in terms of movie turnout because of Barbie and Oppenheimer. Before that, this has been a really bad year for theaters. Mm-hmm. A lot of movies have underperformed, and I think there was a certain element of let's strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah,
people aren't going to go and see these films forever. Let's just get it happening. Let's do it right now, And I think that because of that, and because people still hadn't, in some cases hadn't seen these films, in some cases want to see them again. Again, $4, sure. Go and see the film for the first time.
Anyone who managed to get an IMAX screening for $4 won the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? I mean, that's never good. I was going to say never going to happen again. It won't happen again for a year.
So next year.
Well, I assume they're definitely going to do another one because this year was a success, right?
It was huge, but if you do like playing box office bingo, it is interesting to go and look at what's successful, what won the weekend, things like that. But if you compare those numbers, we're continually comparing theater attendance to pre-lockdown, pre-Panini numbers. It still doesn't touch those. It's an impressive weekend for 2023. It's not an impressive weekend for 2019, 2017.
But I think that's just the reality of it now.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are just in an era where people are going to the theater less, hence them inventing this
National Cinema
event
Day.
in the first place. Like, 'cause like you said, it's 2 years old.
Yeah.
This came about last year when theater owners were looking at the results and going, remember 2019? We did much better then.
Yeah.
You didn't need a National Cinema Day before then because people will show up. And now it's not happening as much. Every screening I've been to this year, I've not been to a full screening of anything this year.
No, the cinema that I was in on Sunday was the most full, I think, since pre-lockdown. It's
But was it entirely sold out?
No, it was not.
That's what I'm saying. I think we have just moved into this era where that's not happening, and I think theater owners are right to be nervous.
Well, I mean, my beloved ArcLight closed down. So
and it was your fault. It was your fault.
It was my fault for not going to the Cinerama Dome enough.
No,
I saw Spider-Man 2, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 there one time and never went back. And they said, "This is your fault, Ashley Victoria Robinson. How dare you?"
And then they closed it. It's what happens. Yeah. But I think theater owners are right to be nervous. And again, because of the strikes, and when I say because of strikes, I really mean because the studios are using the strike as an excuse to push work out.
Yes, exactly.
There are big movies that are completed that are being shifted to next year.
Moved a huge movie based on a very successful book.
See, I was purposely trying not to say the name.
That was pushed back, and I was like, that movie has been that movie is done because yes, you're right, because it's a PR move for two reasons. It's a PR move because if they do that, then consumers will be mad at the people who are striking, and that might put pressure on those guilds to cave. And
I don't think it will. I think that's going to backfire horrendously, but that's just me.
Well, SAG, we about to go back into negotiation in mid-September. The scuttlebutt in LA is that Labor Day might also see a sort of a re-entry into negotiations for guilds. So we're living in a daring time. But I want to ask, because you compared National Cinema Day to Free Comic Book Day specifically, and comic books, obviously it's a niche of a niche. It's a very small market compared to cinema just has a much wider, my mom has read maybe one comic in her entire life, maybe one of the ones even that I wrote, and goes to the movies very, very often.
Exactly. Yeah.
But should theater owners be looking to something like Free Comic Book Day for the marketing? Because the build up to Free Comic Book Day every year is like a thing. People show out. There's signings. It's an event.
It's coming. Free Comic Book Day gets repeated bites of the PR apple.
Yeah.
Because they get to announce the date, even though it's going to be the first weekend of May. But still, they announce the date in this event. It's tied to a movie, so they get to promote themselves off the back of that. You get the book announcements, but they split the books into gold and silver tiers, so you get two different announcements on that. You then have signings and appearances and everything that you can, sell out. It's probably closer to something like National Record Day, which is a very similar to Free Comic Book Day, but a lesser event, in large part because it's not free, in large part because the industry doesn't get behind it in the same way that Free Comic Book Day does. Free Comic Book Day is supported by everyone in comics, because everyone in comics has the same response that you do, right? As my mom's read one comic, but she likes to go to the movies. Why can't we get more people reading comics?
Yeah.
And, the record industry and the cinema industry have this ability to say, you're kind of a customer anyway. We've just got to convince you to be more of a customer. So it's a much more relaxed thing. I don't think you can do National Cinema Day like you do Free Comic Book Day. I can't, especially not in this, in this era we're in right now. You can't have actors promoting their work.
Right.
So you definitely can't have actors then being like, but movies. Nicole Kidman is not going to make personal appearances in multiple cinemas to tell us how much she loves them. That would be great. It would be like a golden ticket Wonka thing where, are you going to the theater where Nicole Kidman's going to walk through at the start? But it's going to be a niche promotion. But because the wider audience is so big, 10% of a really big audience is bigger than 10% of a comics audience.
Yeah.
Right? And so all National Cinema Day has to do is bring people into the theater, enough people into the theater that will then remember that they like doing this and will then do it again. That's all they have to do.
That's fascinating. I'm going to be interested to see next weekend and maybe for the next subsequent 4 weekends, if any of this carries over, or if it was a bunch of people being like, well, I'll go see that for $4.
I suspect it's the latter, especially because I can't think of any big movie that's opening in the next few weeks.
No, because we're pushing them all.
Yeah, no, right.
Everything's actually coming to streaming that had a sort of a blockbuster moment in the summer over the next couple weeks, in fact.
It's going to be, I don't think we're going to see a massive bump. I would like to think that when we get the next big release, which at this point, I'm not even sure what the next big release that's not been pushed actually is. It might be Aquaman all the way in December. That can't be right. No, Marvels. The Marvels is before that. Marvels is in November. But I think when that happens, we hopefully will see, a bigger thing. But who knows? Marvel movies have been an uneven performance this year, shall we say?
Superhero movies in general. Hot take. Real mixed bag this year.
You're not wrong though.
2023.
You're really not wrong.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see what it's like. What I'm interested in is what's National Cinema Day 2024 going to look like.
I hope we remember to talk about this again next year. It's your job, viewers. At Popverse says next year when National Cinema Day is announced, to remind Graeme and I that we're going to do another post-mortem and we're going to compare the 2 years. That's on you. If we don't do it, it's your fault. It's not my fault. Okay? Thank you so much.
You're pointing at me when you say that.
Hey, baby. Finger guns. Graeme, I'm going to release you back into the Popverse. Thank you for coming and chatting National Cinema Day to me. But before we do it, I'm going to make you do your favorite thing and tell everyone where they can find you and support you online.
I'm on the internet. I'm on the internet with my first name and then the first initial of my last name on Twitter and Blue Sky. That simple.
There you go. Thanks, Graeme.
Bye.
So we're going to introduce a new segment to Enter the Popverse. And if you like it, let us know in the comments. You can tweet us. We might make this a regular segment. I haven't made up my mind yet. This is why I love doing this with you, because you can have input on it. We're going to do a comic book review. I have a prop. I was given it early, so let's see what it looks like. Yes, I'm Batman. I'm not the only Commonwealth person who's ever played Batman. If you don't recognize the back cover, and if you don't recognize specifically the Batman gag, then maybe you're not all up on the up and up with the Gnort Swimsuit Edition that DC is putting out. At the time that you're watching this, it is out. It came out on Tuesday, August 29th. I have been dying for this the minute it was announced. One, we love a J. Scott Campbell cover. I have the DK3 with Carrie Kelly exclusive that he did. There's a ton of fun stories. There's a ton of fun, hot pinups throughout. And each issue also has a unique centerfold. So if you are like a collector, there's very much a Pokemon gotta catch 'em all. And I got the one that I really wanted. Jorge Jimenez, Nightwing, and Batgirl. And my favorite detail that I've been sharing with everyone is the sunscreen. So we have Oracle right here. That's my favorite. Bab's identity is Oracle. And then we have the Nightwing symbol. Oh, I'm not good at doing this backwards. The Nightwing symbol on Dick Grayson. This is such a cute anthology. It is a fantastic way to end out your summer if you are a DC Comics fan. It is fun-filled with short form stories about a bunch of amazing characters in the DC universe. And it's filled with pinups. And we begin and we end with Wonder Woman, which I really, really, really like. This was a fabulous read when I got it over the weekend. Again, the gag of being able to do this and to be Bruce Wayne will never be old to me. Like, how cute is this? It also gives me 90s like Swimsuit Edition kind of throwback. And I have an unabashed love of 90s comics. So many of my favorite things in comics came out of or were popularized in the 1990s. Hello, Jim Drake. Mwah, Cassandra Cain. I love you both so much. You're perfect. Never change. And Gnort's swimsuit special really, really embraces that. The stories are fun. The art is amazing. It's an easy breezy, beautiful cover girl read. If you have an end of summer trip coming up, we have Labor Day. If you're in the United States, is right around the corner this long weekend. This is a perfect read to bring with you. This is a beach read. And like, frankly, I just want people to support it so we do more fun things like this in comics. So Gnart's Swimsuit Edition, I'm going to rate it out of Batman cowls. And I'm going to say that it gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of a possible 5 Batman cowls. I really hope that we continue doing fun things like this for holidays in DC and across all of comics. I'm also a big fan of anthologies. I love the economy of being able to tell an incredible story in short form in 2 pages, in 6 pages, in 8 pages. I honestly think is more impressive than being able to tell an incredible story over the course of an entire graphic novel, because you have to understand story and format and character and movement as an artist in a really, really real way. And you get that truly exemplified at a high level of excellence in the Gnart's Swimsuit Edition. Green Lantern characters, you're making this is hard. This is hard for me. Also, the mirroring of the screen is also very, very hard for me. But I know a ton of people are excited about this, so I wanted to make sure, because I got my hands on it. Thank you to DC, who provided these to a bunch of us here at Popverse. I wanted to make sure that I came and chatted about it. And we love talking comics. So if comics and maybe comics reviews or having a creator maybe come on and talking like page by page, panel by panel, if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know down in the comments, because I want to develop a more standing comic book segment here for Enter the Popverse. So available on stands right now. Get yourself the Bruce Wayne cover. Pick up, I would say pick up your centerfold of choice, but like, honestly, like, gotta catch them all Pokemon, but especially this one. This one's the best one. It's my very favorite one. You get them right now. Support your LCS. If you're traveling this weekend, visit a new local comic book store. It can give you a great sense of what the nerd culture is like in the cities that you're visiting. And yeah, let's support Gnart's Swimsuit Edition. This says issue number 1 on it. Let's hope that next year we get issue number 2, issue number 3, and then I'm still talking to you when we're on issue number 51. Hi, Nicole. Welcome to the Popverse.
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here.
How has your San Diego Comic-Con been so far?
I mean, so far so good. I got here yesterday morning and I am already broke as hell.
Wait,
and we are going to keep that going.
Can we get into it a little bit? What have you seen? What have you picked up that you're really
So
excited
I only
about?
really attacked this half
Uh-huh.
of the con yesterday, and most of that was Artist Sally.
Are you getting a lot of positive feedback about your endeavors with Dreamer over
Yes,
the past couple years?
yeah, everyone's really excited, and this is the place to be for it, because everyone is like loves her almost as much as I do.
Almost is being the
Almost.
key word.
I mean, honestly, amateurs, a lot of them.
It's not a competition, but it is.
I win.
Let's get deep into the weeds on Dreamer, though, because you have shepherded in her story in the DC universe. We've seen her in a bunch of standalone stories, and now you're doing a full-length graphic novel. Please tell me all about it.
Oh my god. Okay, so this is the comic book origin of Nia Nal, so it's going to be a little bit different from what people are used to.
Mm-hmm.
Some characters will recognize, some things and staples from her origin we'll see again. But this is a 15-year-old Nia realizing that she has the powers that her sister was always supposed to get, and she's sort of resigned to being a supporting character in her own life. Her sister Maeve is the star. She's going to be the superhero. She's going to get mom's powers, and I'm going to be the guy in the chair. I'm going to design the super suit. And when she realizes that she got them, she's like, I can't do this to my sister. I can't ruin her life. So she runs away to Metropolis, and she finds community, and she finds girls like her, and for the first time the facets of her identity aren't at war with each other. And also, because it's me, I had to throw in cosmic space destiny and explosions and villains, and because I like it flowery.
Are they original villains to the graphic novel?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we're world building, we're expanding.
Oh, we are world building, we're expanding, we are drawing on things, we are revamping, rebooting, and remixing.
Remixing!
That was one of my favorite parts of writing the graphic novel, was getting to expand on Naltor and getting to get all into the nitty-gritty of the socio-political, societal.
Put your anthropological hat on.
Absolutely. No, the bad guy I'm actually really excited for, because of course I grew up with, like, you know, sort of the queer-coded Disney villains, you know, with the plunging necklines,
yes,
and a thirst for power, and
a vague English accent for some
vague
reason.
English.
We're thinking Jafar.
Yeah, like vague Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the villain's I can say the villain's name is Sybil, and she is an evil Neltorian.
Amazing. Ooh.
Yeah. So she has come to track down Dreamer and her family and secure her place in a position of power on Naltor.
Ooh, that's so exciting. I don't want to get too deep into spoilers, but what was your collaboration with Rye, your artist, like?
Oh my God, Rye Hickman is a legend and an icon, and everything they do, everything they touch turns to gold.
And all the preview images we've seen are stunning.
And let me tell you what, the whole book is like that. It's all of the dreams especially are like these beautiful acid trippy 2-page spreads, panelless and formless and just full of symbolism and metaphor, and it makes no goddamn sense. It makes no sense to Nia, and it makes no sense to the reader, but that's why it's cool.
Just like our real dreams.
Boom.
Woo! So how did this project come about? Did you bring this to DC?
Yeah.
Did DC come knocking on your door and say, you're clearly the correct person for the job?
No. So I went to, no one has said that.
I'm saying it, you're clearly the correct person for the job.
So I went to DC and I was like, hey, look, this is a hero that means a lot to a lot of people. She's really cool. She's stupid powerful, and she's stupid powerful. I mean, I think we accidentally may have created one of the most, if not the most powerful character in the DC universe.
I would say so. Let's see her go toe-to-toe with Wonder Woman and Superman. We're manifesting.
Yeah, I mean, how does the Man of Steel break out of chains made out of dreams?
Ooh,
How
that's
do you do
the
that?
byline for the next graphic novel. I'm telling you right now.
Announced here. You heard it here first. No, I mean, so I was like, she means a lot to a lot of people, and so I went to them with this whole pitch for an ongoing, and this truly illustrates how little I understood about comic books. So I was like, hey, here's a character who's never existed in the comics before. How do you guys feel about creating a whole ongoing series for her right out the gate? Here's my pitch. I'm not going to write it. I just think someone should write this. Because that's totally how that works.
Absolutely.
And they were like, okay, well, that's a lot. So they told me that their young adult graphic novel line was, really taking off, and they didn't have a story about sisters. And I was like, well, Nia has a sister who sucks, so that's a story.
But you're following in the proud tradition of characters like Harley Quinn, who started in the animated series and is now kind of the queen of the DC universe.
I would say so.
I think Nia's poised to Nia's going to fight Harley Quinn after she defeats Superman and become queen of the DC universe.
Yeah, she's just ding, 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 checking them off the list.
Right in a row. I'd also love to ask you really quick about Lazarus Planet, because that is a deep, dark, hardcore comic story that's very much in contrast to like the DC Kids, DC All Ages story. What was it like getting to play in that universe?
Hard.
Oh.
That was just 10 pages that I wrote, but it was like, I was on the phone with Paul and Mark, and I was like, I need you to send me all of the Justice League Dark. I need you to send me all of Dr. Fate. I need you to send me all of Batman versus Robin and all, like, I don't know what's going on, and they were lucky, and they were kind enough to give me everything I was asking for. But it was, because that was the first story that I had written that really needed to be in continuity, in universe. I had to connect it to what came before and what's coming next. So that was the most difficult part of it.
That's fascinating to hear that was more difficult than like crafting a whole world and deepening the Neltorian mythology itself. Well,
because I've been so like just buried alive in that.
Yes,
I hadn't really been keeping up with what was happening currently in the comic books. So then I was like, they're like, yeah, so this is coming, after Batman versus Robin. And I was like, stop, what is that? They're fighting? Why?
For why?
They're brothers. They're not brothers? What? What are we talking about? So that was hard.
What I love and what I'm hearing is that you do your research, you ask a lot of questions, and you come out with bold ideas, and that is how you found success in comics. But I would love for anybody watching who maybe wants to emulate your journey or tell their story as authentically as you've been doing, what is your best piece of advice for aspiring comic book writers?
Write a story that you like. I mean, something that I was really struggling with was, I don't know if people are going to want this. I don't know if this is something that people are going to resonate with or respond to. People have so many different tastes, and there are so many different stories out there, and every story deserves to be told. And just write what you want to see, and the chances are, you know, there's 8 billion people in the world. Somebody else is going to like what you put down.
At least 1 billion.
At least 1 billion.
And my final question.
And those are my real sales numbers.
1 billion.
You check that. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it could be. We'll actually know very soon. Boom. We'll know in about 4 weeks. But my final question, because here in the Popverse, we celebrate the best in TV, movies, and comics. What are you geeking out about right now that you are not working on? So no Dreamer, sadly.
Oh my gosh. I mean, what I'm honestly most excited about is stuff with Dreamer that I can't talk about yet. But it's not just Dreamer. It's a lot of some of my favorite characters, and it's gonna be fucking crazy.
Yeah, you're fine.
Sorry. It's gonna be really crazy, and I've been in contact with DC and talking to Paul Kaminsky a lot about it, and that's great. We get on the phone together and we're like, oh, and then what if? Oh, but what if we do that? Oh, girl. And so we just got something greenlit that's going to be, I think, really, really unexpected for people, and they're not going to see that coming. But it's a story I've been dying to tell.
Okay, well, I hope when you're ready to talk about it that we'll get a chance to do it together. Yeah. And thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you.
God, I'm so freaking excited. I'm dying to read this book. When I read Bad Dreamer Story, I will definitely be chatting with you about it here on Enter the Popverse. Maybe we'll encourage everybody to read it. We'll do a little mini book club together. But I'm so excited for this book. I'm so grateful that Nicole took the time to chat with us and share her journey becoming a writer. She was so much fun and brought so much energy. And I'm so glad that I just got to share that with you. Right, just a shot in the arm as we head out into the weekend. All right, friends, as always, I have been your video host and producer, Ashley Victoria Robinson, here in the Popverse today. While you are here, of course, I want to encourage you and remind you that if you want any more details about any of the other stories that we talked about today, I always share everything down in the show notes of this little video so that you can find everything, but you can always find even more details and even more incredible content, written, visuals, video over at thepopverse.com, where we are celebrating the best in TV, movies, and comics every single day, every day, every hour of the day, every second of the day. We are curating the Popverse, celebrating the best in TV, movies, and comics just for you. While you're over there, don't forget to get yourself a Popverse membership that allows you to have access to literally everything that we are doing at all times, including amazing live access to panels happening at our conventions all over the world. Even if you can't be there, I understand our friends in Bali, maybe you can't come to New York Comic Con, but you could watch my main stage panel with Ewan McGregor if you get yourself a Popverse membership. And just, of course, one last time, if you're going to be in New York or thinking about coming to New York Comic Con, I would love to meet you. I would love to hear what you love about Popverse. Enter the Popverse, everything that we're getting up to. So get yourself a New York Comic Con ticket. There's still just a few left, so please be sure that you come over and that you join us October 12th to 15th in New York City. Say it with me, the greatest city in the world. And while you're here, of course, why not do what that little ticker tape at the bottom says? Why not like and subscribe and click that bell so you never miss an episode of Enter the Popverse every time it goes live, when we are live and here and in person, every time we post a short. You don't want to miss anything that we work very, very hard. We do this for you. We love you. You love us. So why not click that subscribe button? All righty, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. I have been Ashley Victoria Robinson. And my friends, I will see you next time.